Dear friends, the ball rolled and dropped in a slot. The path that led to the making of this book had that natural randomness. How else do I explain my interest in block printing? My habitat was the newsroom, brutal, intrusive, judging. No post roses, nor tulip provincials grew on my terra firma. Meeting Brigitte happened by natural law of progression. My beautiful and talented wife, Iris, had lived and worked with Brigitte when she arrived in India from France, giving herself over like a daughter to a local maternal guardian spirit in a foreign land. I had heard about Brigitte from a colleague, the fashion correspondent of Outlook magazine, who spoke of her as a reclusive diva. The only other piece of information she could offer was from the rumor mill, which went something like this. Brigitte had once shut the door on the American ambassador's wife for turning up in her atelier without a prior appointment. I made sure Iris informed Brigitte well in advance before we went to see her in her Haveli in Amber for the first time together. Brigitte rarely gave an interview. Her work was even rarer a sight in India. Brigitte fakes and copies, however, sold merrily, from Tony shops to street-side vendors. Only a few close friends could buy her block-printed textiles. Commonly, one wondered what exactly this French lady was cooking up in her atelier in Amer that would attract the most renowned decorators from the world. For the elite in India, Brigitte is a known name. Her printed fabrics are objects of desire, a pride of possession if one was lucky. Yet, the artist herself is little known. She chose to stay away from the city lights in her own world of drawing and printing. It was due to Iris, who made so many beautiful trips to Amer possible for me to enjoy Brigitte's hospitality, that there was even a context to which I could hit upon the idea of making a book on this design maestra, whose artistry, devotion, and energy had left me spellbound. Little did I realize then what a formidable task I had set for myself. My experience in block-printed fabric till then was from the upholstery material I had brought as a matter of course. Early on in the project, I realized that a craft history of block printing is so deep that I could not possibly learn enough by reading a few reference books on the subject. Jasleen Dhamija lent her ever-loving hand to draw up a list of possible authors who could explain to the readers about the place block printing has in our shared history. Photographing Brigitte's enormous collection was a daunting task. I contacted Prabhudo Dasgupta, who was a great admirer of Brigitte's work, but the cruel hand of fate took the gracious Prabhuda away from us before he could start my project. I turned to my other friend Dayanita Singh, who said she would be happy to photograph for the book. But then she asked me, "Why don't you shoot yourself?" It was too good a gauntlet to let go of begging. Brigitte's meticulous catalogue of her work, into which I dived headlong, were like a bottomless archive. How to condense all of what the Printress had done over 3 decades into one book? What does one leave out? From which layer should I start? Which layer shall I treat as the top one? To fall back on what I am best at, visual storytelling, was the logical beginning. For a start, I designed a grid for the book that would set the pace of the narration. Brigitte's Rajasthani-style Haveli, constructed around a medieval ruin, which now serves as a Shivala, a black-hooded king cobra is a regular visitor here before the Lord, was a setting la parfait for photographing her beautifully printed textiles. What followed were many trips on long weekends from Delhi on the treacherous National Highway 8 over the next 4 years, enjoying and discovering every bit I encountered. Once I would park my car inside the iron gates of the Haveli, the world would change for me till I exited. As the clock strikes 9 every morning, a stream of women and men from villages near and afar enter the Haveli, which houses the printing workshop, tailoring unit, atelier, studio, kitchen and flower gardens, cow and goat sheds, the carpentry workshop, a swimming pool, and Brigitte and her daughter Leela's dwelling unit. Nobody who enters the premises is ever idle. You speak only when you are spoken to. Brigitte may be there or not, but the rhythm to which the printer's block rise and fall keeps to the score sheet laid down by the conductor herself. The devotion with which Ramadeen collects bandar ki roti, seeds of the chilbil tree, used as a substitute for pine wood seeds, how Dharman, the Rajasthani French fusion cook from Garhwal, gives those seeds over to the pesto sauce he will prepare, how Savita's deft fingers sew through the fine muslins all day long without a hint of monotony. All of these 60-odd people here have imbibed into their own selves some parts of Brigitte Singh, an idea of what it is like to do things perfectly. Bilkis disapproves of the knot I have tied to hold the chick I am about to photograph. Mem Sahab gathers the rope like this, she demonstrates, and you make one knot here. She's right. The aesthetic effect of Bilkis's intervention is evident from the photograph I just shot. It's 1 p.m., lunch break. Women and men sprawl out on the lush grass or under the shady neem and amla trees within the Haveli. The sound of tick and thud will turn into a low hum and buzz for this hour. Tongues wag between gossips on the tailor's daughter's elopement and the chili pickle Jamna has got, with equal relish. A short tea interval before the day, a well-orchestrated bustle has come to a close at 5 p.m. The calming silence befalls the Haveli as the sun goes down behind the walls of the distant Amir fort. Tomorrow will be another day. Thank you.
Thank you, Bish.
Now, may I request Brigitte and Professor Goswami to launch the book by unveiling this large cardboard book. We have a real copy too. Please.
Thank you, Professor, for being here.
Can you remove that thing?
So we'll have these mics that we are nearly to swallow.
We'll take a few seconds to remove
Thank you, Professor.
the display. And may I request for the next
How meaningful it is to me.
program a conversation between Professor Goswami and Brigitte Singh.
But I'll speak when I'm spoken to, right?
You can speak whenever.
I have a dragon reputation.
We are taking just a minute to present the real copy to the Printress and Professor Goswami.
Thank you, Bish.